Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are we getting on? So today Bethesda released a new community calendar, looking forward to the next 3 months, specifically January, February and March of 2020, and it's covering all the new seasonal events and in-game community events that are coming up at the beginning of next year, including a few new ones which might be interesting, and maybe even a couple of little extra tidbits we might be able to glean from this. So let's jump in, take a look, shall we? Hi folks, before we jump into the video, I just wanted to take a moment to tell you about Fallout for Hope. So as I'm sure you're well aware, 2020 has been rather a dark year, and with a view to ending it with a bit more of a ray of light, folks behind Chad, a Fallout 76 podcast, have got together with over 200 other Fallout creators and streamers to raise money for St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. So if you don't know what those guys do, basically they research cures and treatments for children with life-threatening diseases like cancer, so it's a really great cause. So, from the 14th to the 20th of December across YouTube, Twitch and other platforms as well, all 200 plus of us will be playing games from the Fallout series to raise a bit of money for St. Jude's. If you'd like to support the campaign and support St. Jude's, you'll find a link down in the description. You'll also be able to pick them up on the streams during the week as well. And you'll also be able to find it, of course, on everybody else's channels as well. So, we do hope you join us in supporting this wonderful cause. Thank you very much. So, new community calendar, something to look forward to at the start of next year, a few cool new events, and a couple of new ones as well, so definitely interested to see what those are. See that's come out, big Scribe of Avalon theme all over it, which is about what we'd expect as that started yesterday. Gonna have to have a little jump into that in a bit myself, looking forward to it. But let's have a look at this community calendar. So, obviously across the top, we've got the first big banner talking about Steel Dawn and the Scribe of Avalon being out already. Yep, we already know about that. What's happening next year? January, quality of life updates, stash size increase, and Pip-Boy menu changes. So we talked about that in the last video, which I will link up here if you want to catch a little look at that. But they're going over the increase in the stash size up to £1,200, which is very, very cool. We've got a number of Pip-Boy menu changes, which are going to tweak sort of the layout and make it easy to find things, especially on the fly as well. So that's quite cool. And a couple of other bits and pieces in terms of map UI and things like that that'll be quite cool to see as well. So nice little changes to make life a little smoother, make things a little bit easier to find. So that's coming up in January. That should be the January patch. No details on when that is here, but this is focused more on community events. So, the first one being the 7th to the 11th of January, which will be week 2 in January. The double score week is coming back, so we'll be, what, 4th week of the Scribe of Avalon by then? So, double score week, get a little bit of a boost on. I think a lot of people will be getting towards the halfway mark of the scoreboard by then, so that'll give them a little boost as they start getting into those ranks that take a little longer to get to, so that's nice. No details, but I would imagine they'll go with the usual thing wherein it's the dailies that give you double score. They might include the weeklies, but they usually just go for the daily challenges. But either way, very, very cool. So, the weekend after, we have a mystery pick sale at the Purveyor down at the Rusty Pick in Ashheap. Not too bothered about that myself, not a big fan of the mystery pick, but it's a Purveyor sale if you do happen to have script burning a hole in your pocket. January 21st through to the 25th, we have our first double XP weekend of 2021. I know some people were concerned that those might disappear. Doesn't look like that's happening. But very, very cool. Double XP coming up towards the end of January. And over the final few days and into the 1st of February, we have our first of the new events, the Script Surplus weekend. So obviously this has got something to do with Legendary Script and the Purveyor, but exactly what it is, who knows? Maybe it's some kind of sale type event. It might be a short-term thing where you can earn double script for things. It might be a short-term ability to have more script on your character. I think more likely than that would be the possibility that you can sell more stuff. Possibly sell more to the legendary script machines and get more script more quickly, you know, rather than being capped at, say, 200 a day or whatever it is. So that might be interesting over the course of that weekend. Obviously, need a few more details on that, but that's interesting. Legendary-focused event is probably going to be worthwhile. It should be fun. So, the first week of February, the 4th through to the 8th, we have a double score week again, so a month later, so getting towards the end of the Scribe of Avalon at that point. Looks like that this is going to run through till probably mid-March, possibly the end of March. It usually does 10 weeks, so what's that, 2.5 months, so That would normally mean probably until the beginning of March, so I'm guessing the beginning of March is when Season 4 will start. There's obviously no details here, but it seems likely. Double score week at the start of February, though, is sort of 2/3, 3/4 of the way through it, so good chance to boost those last few levels if you're struggling a bit. Following that, we have the return of the Hunt for the Treasure Hunter, which we've had a fair bit of lately, but after a little downtime, it'll be, about 2 months, 2 and a bit months of downtime from that particular event, so probably a good time to bring it back, and it's doubling up with a purveyor sale, 25% off, much more interesting in my opinion. Definitely looking forward to a little bit of a boost on the old script sales, pick up some better legendaries, get a bit more value for money, always cool. Fashion Act returns the 16th of February, running through till the 22nd, which, frankly, I think is a bit early. I think Fashion Act's supposed to be in March. Is it? I don't know. It's possible it moves around a bit, but that also seems kind of unlikely. So it seems like a strange time to be hosting that. It's not listed anywhere in March, so they've bumped it forward a bit, which is one of the reasons I think there might be something more that isn't on here coming in March, because push it forward a bit, then they've got makes the space in March for other things to be released, yeah? So that's my guess there, but that's the 16th to the 22nd. The 23rd through to the 1st of March, however, is Gold Rush weekend. Very interesting. This is another new event. So again, no details on what this might be, but the obvious possibility, the one that I hope is not the case personally, is that it might be some kind of sale on gold bullion, so stuff that you'd buy with bullion will be half price, something like that. That would be the most disappointing scenario. It's not a bad thing, but it would be the least interesting scenario, I think. More interesting would be a whole new seasonal event with new theme, new style, new gameplay, new challenges, all that stuff, a whole new thing, which is what I'm hoping for. Don't know what form that might take, some kind of panning for gold thing maybe, or something like that. But again, we'll find out in the beginning of next year, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on what that might be, beyond obviously just a sale on bullion, which here's hoping it's not going to be that, because that's kind of boring. So either way, second new event coming at the end of February. Very, very cool. So when March comes around, what have we got? There we go, new scoreboards. That's probably going to be the second week in March, so we're going to miss that earlier, but there it is. And special loadouts and more. So, special loadouts? I'm assuming that's going to be perk loadouts, which we've been asking for since probably about this time 2 years ago. But they keep getting pushed. Bethesda have mentioned this a couple of times, but they keep getting pushed because bigger updates take priority and more important changes get focused on. Which is kind of frustrating, but also kind of understandable. There's only so many things any given person can do at a time. More often than just one person, obviously, but the same result applies. So, good news is it looks like that's lined up for March, provisionally. Let's go with provisionally. But definitely something to look forward to. It'd be very, very nice, especially for some of those more practical perks compared to the combat ones. It'd be easy to switch between them, which is very, very welcome. Looking forward to that. And more stuff coming as well. So, no details, but we do have a background of the Brotherhood of Steel there, coming out of Fort Atlas, which is cool. Which has been seen in the Fractured Steel trailer that we saw around about the launch of Steel Dawn. And the split in the Brotherhood in Appalachia. So, I'm wondering if that means the next chapter of the Brotherhood story is intended to take place in March. I would have liked to have seen it a bit sooner than that, given how short it is. It's not going to keep us busy for 3.5 months, 4 months, so yeah, a little longer, a little sooner would have been nice, but on the other hand, I'd rather they took the time to get it, running right, so swings and roundabouts, I suppose, but there we go. So the next chapter is probably, speculatively, lined up for March, which is, as I say, why I think they've probably pushed Fashion Act back a little bit and moved it into February just to free up a bit more room for that Steel Dawn launch. But we do have a few seasonal events and community events running that month. 4th to the 8th we have Vendor Caps Aplenty Weekend, which is another new community event. I'm guessing from the tone of that it's going to mean that vendors have double caps at that period. I know we've tried it in game at the moment and it's appeared and vendors have more caps than they used to have. The question is that going to stay, or is it just a sort of in-game test? It's rather hard to test this sort of thing on the PTS. They've tried, but there's sufficiently few players on there that it's not the most effective test ever. The other thing is, most players won't push that hard to sell stuff and generate caps on the PTS because they don't transfer back to live. So you couple that with the regular wipes or resets, I suppose, of your character on the PTS. It's not really a wipe. Basically, every so often they copy your live character onto the PTS, and it erases what progress your PTS character has made and brings your live one over. So it's kind of a wipe, it's kind of not. But the upshot of it is that there's no point in selling things and trying to generate caps, because any progress you make on the PTS gets effectively cancelled out every so often. So my guess is that what Bethesda are going to do here is they're testing it now on live, where people will actually make use of it. And then the cap increase on the vendors might disappear, possibly 1st of January, something like that. Seems like a likely time period. Maybe the 3rd, because I think that's a weekend, isn't it? So 3rd or 4th, which is about the first Tuesday. So that's my guess on that point. And then this Caps the Plenty weekend thing will be a occasional weekend event that comes back, much like the purveyor sales, wherein robot vendors will have double their usual amounts of caps. That's my guess, but obviously we haven't got any details, it's pure speculation, but it'd be interesting to see how Bethesda actually go with that. What else they might do with this, I don't know. I mean, I suppose they could just have the double amount and then double it further for the event, but we'll see. It seems unlikely to me, but yeah, we'll have to wait till March to find out. Well, probably not quite till March. I'd imagine they'll be talking about it sometime in February at the latest. We'll find out. March the 11th to the 15th, we have another purveyor sale. It's another mystery pick event, so here's what it is, that's there. March the 18th to March the 20th, Scripps Surplus Weekend returns after its appearance at the end of January. Again, still not sure what on earth that might be, but we'll find out next month. Be interesting to see what's going on there. And last but not least on the list, March 25th to 29th, Hunt for the Treasure Hunter returns once again, some 6 weeks or so after its previous iteration at the beginning of February. 5 weeks probably, after its appearance in February. So that is Q1's community calendar. It's got some cool stuff. A lot of stuff that I'm curious about. Like I say, I think the big, most interesting thing is probably when the next piece of the Brotherhood story is going to appear, and it looks like, based on the background here, and based on what's here and what isn't, and what's been moved around, Fashion Act primarily, but the next part of that story will come in March, which is not surprising, really. So, new scoreboard obviously then as well, and Perk Loadouts, which we're all very, very excited for. Should be coming in March, looking forward to seeing that, fingers crossed. So, definitely some cool stuff in here, some stuff I'm interested in finding out about, plenty to keep us busy, and to top up the scoreboard as well, because obviously they'll keep us in and playing, but having a few extra bits and pieces to do, it's a bit more fun, a bit more engaging, always welcome. So, that's basically everything I have for you today in regards of the new community calendar. Interested to hear what you guys think about it. Do let me know in the comments below. If you did like the video and if you found it interesting and informative, please do consider dropping a sub or a like. It's always very, very much appreciated. Really helps out. Social media links are down below the video as well, along with the merch store and channel memberships on the blue join button, which are massively helpful to the channel and help me do what I do. So massive thanks to anybody who is thinking about doing that. It's very much appreciated. And as usual, if you get a chance, do join us for the live streams as well, playing Fallout, going to dive into the Scribe of Avalon, and we're going through with the whole Fallout for Hope charity streams this week as well, so I do hope you'll join us for those. That's going to be continuing this evening, and of course we're playing Cyberpunk 2077 as well as our B game, which is tons of fun and a fascinating and fun world to explore and get into tons and tons of trouble in, so I do hope you'll join us for that. For now, I'll say thank you very much for watching. I look forward to speaking to you all very, very soon.